Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have another collection update. This one's actually even bigger than the last. I've got 8 CDs, 2 tapes, and 1 record. So yeah, I got. If you guys don't know, if I don't know if I said this in one of my last few videos, but I recently graduated high school, so I got a bunch of money from like my extended family and stuff. So I used some of it on, merchant music and stuff. So yeah, let's get started. So first up. This actually just came like an hour ago. It says Cerebral Incubation with Asphyxiating on Excrement. Fantastic album, really classic slam album. If you don't know Cerebral Incubation, if you're into slam and brutal death metal, you should know who they are. But if you don't know who they are, slam band, really goofy lyrics, really fun shit to listen to. Album cover's ridiculous. It's literally like a chick in a trash can gagging on poop. So pretty gross. Really memorable album cover though, at least I think. There's the back. This is a pressing through put out through Gorehouse Productions. This is actually the only pressing on vinyl that anything from Cerebral Incubation is. I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite album from them. It's probably my second favorite. My favorite is definitely their second album, Gonorrhea Nodule Mastication, which is actually a CD reissue for that coming out. 'Cause it's really hard to find the first press of that. I think it's coming out later this month or something. But this is just on black vinyl, so not really a need to show, but you got the labels. I know that some copies of this come with a poster I've seen. Mine doesn't, but I don't really care anyways. Don't really know if I want a chick suffocating on poop on my wall. But anyways, there's some great tracks on here. Gastrointestinal Rape, Pharaonic Circumcision, Vasovagal. Just really fun, catchy shit. If you like that 2000 slam style, like cephalotropsy, like that kind of stuff, you'll like this. If you don't like slam, you definitely will not like this album though. The lyrics are ridiculous on here. They're really like goofy. They're like gore and rape lyrics and stuff, but they're not really meant to be taken seriously at all. Not even from like it's not supposed to be like real life type thing. Like they're like really goofy. Like I saw a post on Instagram that this band posted that was like a lot of bands, especially like deathcore bands, do this where like they'll post like in bold text like a really anthemic lyric they have. Cerebral Incubation did one time that like the lyric was like I think it said like, "I'm crazy, homie. I will masturbate on these lesions. It's cheaper than lesions. It's cheaper than ointment." With like their logo underneath it. It's just so stupid and funny. Their lyrics, obviously, they have fun with it. It's really retarded, but it's like so fun to listen to. But yeah, really good slam album though. They're not like a joke band or anything. They just have really funny lyrics. But if you're into like pure 2000 slam, I highly recommend this. Although it's a classic, so you should probably know it anyways. But yeah, Cerebral Incubation, Asphyxiating on Excrement. Next up, we have 2 tapes, both from Maggot Stomp. So first up, we got Disembowel with Echoes of Terror. I had to change the case because it came like the case had like a crack in it when I got it on one of the hinges. But it's fine anyways. This is a great fucking album though. Old school death metal. Very memorable, catchy, kind of melodic riffs. If you haven't heard this, I'd highly recommend the song Immolation, the second track on here. It's fantastic. Very just early 90s old school sounding. I kind of get like a Finnish death metal, like Convulse kind of vibe from these guys. Not the most unique thing ever for a death metal band to be doing these days, but they do it very well and very memorable on here. But here's the album cover, track listing. This is their debut album. I believe this actually just came out like back in like March, I think. Here's the tape, and then in the J card, you got a picture of the band and then a collage and thank yous. Pretty cool. I think this is around like half an hour long. Yeah, if you like old school style death metal, especially a lot of that newer shit, you'll definitely like this. Some really good stuff. Definitely one of the best releases I've heard this year. Maggot Stomp has just been putting out so much good shit this year, and even last year they put out some amazing stuff. Speaking of stuff that came out last year on Maggot Stomp, we got Mortal Wound with Forms of Unreasoning Fear. This is like a demo or an EP, I think. But it's like 24 minutes long. But there's 5 songs on here. They're all, around like 4 to 5 minutes long. Really good shit. I say the best songs on here are Grotesque Head and Riddle with Parasites. This is some more old school style death metal, but it's a little bit more unique than Disembowel, I'd say. I'm not saying that to put down Disembowel at all, but this stands out just a little more in some ways. There's some kind of atmospheric, kind of melodic guitar work here and there. But there's also just some really great fucking riffs on here, which is something that allowed, or most pretty much any band on Maggot, sorry, I was like burping or hiccuping or whatever. Pretty much any band on Maggot Stomp will give you super memorable, great fucking riffs, and this band definitely delivers on that. And but cool album cover. I always really like their logo because it looks like it's one word, but it's two stacked on top of each other. I don't know, it's just a very memorable logo, I'd say. But there's the side. There's the tape, same deal as the last one I just showed. And the J card. Some more black and white artwork. Really like this artwork. And you got all the lyrics. Really good stuff though. I believe this band is from LA or Oakland or something. I know they're not too far from where I live. But yeah, if you like old school death metal, you'll like this. One of the best releases of, I can't remember if this came out in the end of 2018 or beginning of 2019. This is a reissue from 2019 though, or not reissue, a repress from Maggot Stomp. I'm surprised this was still in stock when I ordered it, because the reissue came out a while ago. Repress, I'm tired. That came out a while ago. But yeah, really good shit. So Mortal Wound, Forms of Unreasoning Fear. So now onto this big fucking pile of CDs. Try to get through these quick-ish. I don't want this video to be like half an hour long. Inevitably it'll probably be around 20 minutes, but so be it. First up, we got Brodekin with Methods of Execution. Fantastic album. Probably my favorite Brodekin album. I can't decide between this and Festival of Death, which I actually have Festival of Death coming in the mail on CD. And once I have that, I'll have all their albums, because I also have the first album. What's it called? Oh my god, I can't remember for the life of me. Whatever, but Methods of Execution, really good album. I can't tell what's going on in the album cover. It's some sort of CGI thing, but it's really dark and you can't see it very well. But this is a pressing from Unmatched Brutality. I think this came out in like 2003 or something like that. I'm still trying to remember the title of their first album. I'm so bad with remembering stuff like that. There's the disc. Really fucking raw. Tons of blast beats and tremolo picked riffs and stuff with a little bit of groove laced in here and there. You know, if you like stuff like Discord US, just imagine a grindier, more raw version of that. That's basically Brodekin. I mean, although they are a pretty popular brutal death metal band though, so if you know Discord, I'm sure you definitely know these guys. Really cool though. But yeah, this is I don't know if I'd say this is the most raw. This Instruments of Torture, that's the name of the first album. Anyways, I don't know if this or Festival of Death is a more raw album, but this one is definitely it's really hard to tell what's going on, but it's fucking great. It's hard to tell what's going on, but it sounds awesome. That's the best way I could describe Brodekin. But just ridiculously brutal shit. So yeah, Brodekin, Methods of Execution, killer stuff. If you saw my last collection update, you saw that I got Tomb of the Mutilated from Cannibal Corpse. You know, a classic, basic album. Not to put it down at all, it's fucking great. But anyways, so naturally after that, I had to get Butchered at Birth. I also want to get Eating Back to Life and The Bleeding, and then maybe Vile. I like that one. That's the only Corpse Grinder one I really care for. Anyways, but really awesome album cover, of course. Classic Vince Locke artwork. There's the back. I know this is the new logo pressing. I don't care enough to buy a old logo press and pay extra for that. I like old Cannibal Corpse, but I'm not a huge enough fanboy to pay that much extra and wait longer. It's whatever, I don't care that much. I'm just happy to have this album. It's really fucking good. Classic though, pretty raw Morrisound production. I mean, the production on here sounds like the musical equivalent of a rusty hacksaw. That's the best way I could describe it. You guys all know this album. If you're into any kind of metal, even if you're not into death metal, I'm sure you've heard this album somewhere. It's classic for a reason. It's so good. Chris Barnes' vocals, where he really started to find his voice on here. This is really the album where Cannibal Corpse found their sound, because Eating Back to Life, it's great, but it's more like thrashy. This one is just pure death metal. But it's really intense. I love that intro to Meat Hook Sodomy. And then that's one of the best songs on the album. Gutted is fantastic. I love Under the Rotted Flesh. That might be my favorite on here. Cover with Sores is like a slower song. Vomit the Soul actually has guest vocals from Glenn Benton, I think. So that's pretty cool. This came out in 1991, forgot to mention. Today's actually the anniversary of this album, and I just got this in the mail today, so that's kind of a cool coincidence. There's a bonus track that's like a live version of Cover with Sores nowadays, like from like when this came out, 2000, this pressing. With Corpse Grinder and Pat O'Brien, like the newer lineup. Not too fond of that live track. It just doesn't sound that good in terms of audio quality. And I just prefer Chris Barnes' vocals. Corpse Grinder, he's not a bad vocalist, but a lot of the albums he's on all sound the fucking same to me. But I really like Vile, the first one he was on. I think that's a good one. But anyways, enough rambling. Butchered at Birth, you guys should know this album. It's a classic for a reason, and it's great. Cannibal Corpse is a really influential death metal band. I do think their brutality is kind of overstated by a lot of people who don't know that much about death metal, where they act like, oh my god, they're the most brutal heavy band ever, when they're not, but they're a very good band, though. At least their old stuff, that's all I really care about, but I've really started to appreciate their old stuff more as of late. That's why I've started buying the albums. But anyways, enough rambling again. Next up, again, I've been meaning to buy for about like a year or two, that just keeps getting pushed off, but Dying Fetus, Purification Through Violence. I don't know why some people don't like this one. I love it. It's not as technical as it would become later on. It's more like kind of slammy, like old school brutal death metal. If you like internal bleeding, like that kind of stuff, you will like this. There's some people I know that don't even really like Dying Fetus that much that like this album. It's just fantastic. There's some just amazing songs on here. Blunt Force Trauma, Beaten into Submission, Skull Fucked, Raped on the Altar. The outro to that track is just super nasty. Nocturnal Crucifixion, excuse me. There's a cover of Scum from Napalm Death that's really cool. There's some bonus tracks. There's a rehearsal version of Beaten into Submission and a live version of Raped on the Altar. But yeah, awesome album though. One of my favorites from Dying Fetus, probably my third favorite from them. I think this is a pretty underrated album. I love this album cover. It's probably my favorite album cover for them too. Just really fucked up looking. This Jesus thing and what looks like a butthole. I don't know. I know the original album cover is different, but I like this one more. But this is a reissue from Relapse. It's a just a little digipack. It's cool. I don't really care enough to buy a OG press. Those go for kind of more expensive. I got this for like $10 on Discogs. This one's a little hard to find. Or the first two, this and Killing Out Adrenaline, although I already own that, for some reason aren't as easily available as the rest of their discography, even though these were reissued not too long ago by Relapse. But whatever, I'm just happy to own this. Awesome album from Dying Fetus. If you like them, there isn't really a reason you shouldn't like this, but some people think that this album sounds generic, which I don't really see. I can't think of much else that sounds exactly like this, especially with the dual vocals and stuff, but really cool though. Next up, we got some more late 90s brutal death metal. This is Deeds of Flesh with Path of the Weakening. Awesome album. Not my favorite from Deeds of Flesh. There's nothing wrong with this album at all. It's pretty much flawless, but I like Trading Pieces and Inbreeding the Anthropophagy and the Gradually Melted EP and Reduced to Ashes. Those are like my favorite releases from them. But this is still one of their best, though, without a doubt. Their first 5 or 6 albums are pretty much flawless, and this is definitely no exception. This came out in like 1999, I want to say. Business as usual for Deeds of Flesh, really. After Inbreeding the Anthropophagy, though, starting with this album, their music started to take a kind of darker, almost slightly melodically tinged turn, which I really like. The album cover is okay. I love John Zig's artwork, but I've always thought this one was a little uninteresting compared to the rest of his stuff. But it's still a cool album cover. It's just not particularly my favorite. There's the back. This is put out through Uniquely Records. I believe that the OG press of this was originally put out. Was like the first thing that Uniquely Records ever released. If you don't know, Uniquely Records is owned by this band. Deeds of Flesh, of course, but I really like that disc artwork. It's pretty cool. just a black tray, which is weird because the rest of Deeds of Flesh stuff doesn't have a black tray. It's usually clear, which I prefer, but what can you do? Cool picture of the band on the back. I really like those like late 90s brutal death metal photos where it's like a bunch of dudes with like baggy cargo pants and beanies and hoodies and shit standing in like some like wildernessy area. I don't know. It's just cool. I know there's one for Disgorge's She-Laid Gutted, kind of like that. Another photo right there. Really cool though. Really, technical brutal death metal. Really fast. Got some dual vocals. Really important band for brutal death metal overall. One of the best brutal death metal bands. Maybe probably one of the best death metal bands, period, of all time. The best songs on here though I'd probably say are the first track, Indigenous to the Appalling, Lust Moored, Path of the Weakening, I Die on My Own Terms. Just great shit. You can't go wrong with the first 5 Deeds of Flesh albums and the Gradually Melted EP in my opinion. And like I said, this is no exception. It's a great album. So yeah, Deeds of Flesh, Path of the Weakening. We're at 16 minutes. I'm going to try to get through these last 4 a little quick. Next up, we got a really good 2000s slam album. Gorvent, Japanese slam. This is put out through a label called Blood Curdling Enterprise. I've never heard of that label. If you don't know Gorvent, if you like Devourment, you'll like these guys. I know a lot of slam bands sound like Devourment, but like the vocals in particular sound a lot like Ruben Rosas, just a little bit lower. Yeah, really great album though. Cool album cover. If you like slam, you'll like this. Even if you don't usually like slam, this isn't super weird sounding. There's no like pig squeals or anything like that, or weird rapey lyrics or samples. Just straightforward, gory. It's slamming brutal death metal. Cool shit. Actually got this on Amazon, which I was kind of surprised that they had this on there. But yeah, there's the album cover. Picture of the band. There's a what do you call it? An Obi strip, but I don't usually keep those on my CDs. It says Japanese slammage brings most heaviest slamming brutality at its finest. Armed with 2 ex-members from Rest and Gore in the vein of traditional Texas death metal influences such as Devourment and Old Sect of Excretion / Malthusia, they continue to pursue extremely guttural, bulldozing, creeping, and sludgy forms from the depth swamp of what's it say? Niigata Central region of Japan. So yep. But cool shit though. This is a really great album. This is the only album I've actually ever listened to from Gorvent. I haven't heard any of their other stuff, but I've been listening to this album for a little while. And yeah, it's just really fun, really catchy. And the second you turn it on, the first song on here, Extinction, just this really catchy slam riff, that dun 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 dun. It's just, it sticks in your head, and then if you like that riff, you'll like the rest of the album. Really, pretty short album too. It's around half an hour. But yeah, straight to the point. Great slam album. So Gorvent with Abnormal Exaggeration. Next up, we have a fantastic brutal death metal album I've been meaning to buy for a while. On Discogs, this was listed as a first press, and I got it for $10. But when I got it, it's a 2017 press, so it was listed incorrectly, but I don't have that much of a problem with that because I got it for so cheap anyways. But this is In Veracity with Circle of Perversion. This is a great fucking album. If you like Pyemia and Disavowed and Disgorge, you'll like this. If you like Suffocation, you'll like this. This is like a mixture, I'd say, imagine a mixture of Disavowed, Suffocation, and a little bit of like mid-era Cannibal Corpse, and this is what you get. It's a really great album. Maybe not the most unique thing ever, but it's definitely not completely generic, but it's really fun to listen to, and it's really fucking brutal. All the tones on this album I love. I gotta do a review for this CD. The guitar tone is super meaty. The bass tone is just perfect, really low and very like a little clanky, but not too clanky, but the bass is pretty audible on this album. The drums sound great. The snare kind of reminds me a little bit of the None So Vile snare. And the vocals sound like a more nasty version of Frank Mullen. It's the best way I could explain it. Really memorable, cool album cover. Circle of Perversion, it says on the spine, in there, and on here. Picture of the band on the back. These guys are Greek. This was put out through Unmatched Brutality. There's some ridiculous, like offensive song titles in here, like Repulsed by Vaginal Reek, Fist Fuck Sodomy, Ejaculation Over Mutilation. So, ridiculous lyrics, but really awesome shit, though. Really fast. There's a lot of blast beats and technical riffs, but there's also some, kind of groovy, kind of slammy riffs. My favorite songs on here are Savagely Beaten. That's if you haven't heard this band, listen to that song. Savagely Beaten, Fist Fuck Sodomy, Blood of Impurity, and probably Unconscious. Those are probably the best songs on here. But you got the disc. The logo's upside down. You have to spin it around to see it. Collage. I don't know if I've looked at the booklet for this yet. Oh yeah, I have. There's just lyrics. Like I said, really over the top, crazy lyrics. This, and they have another album that was put out through Unique Leader. They're the only things they've ever released. But yeah, it's a great album though. If you like regular, straightforward, brutal death metal, there's literally no reason you will not like this. But yeah, I wouldn't say they're really obscure, but they're not really service level BDM either. But you probably should have heard this if you like brutal death metal, but if not, listen, it's really good. So Inverasy, Circle of Perversion. I think this originally came out 2001 or 2002, so it's pretty old, but pretty old school sounding, but really good. Alright, second to last, we got Putridity with Degenerating Anthropophagal Euphoria. Putridity is ridiculous. This is not for everybody, but if you like a ton of blast beats, you'll love this. It's ridiculous. The drums are so fast. The guitars are really drop tuned. I'm pretty sure they're in G sharp or something. The vocals are just really low. These guys are an Italian brutal death metal band. This came out in 2009 or 10 or 11, I want to say. It's a newer... Well, that's not that new. That's 10 years ago, but close enough. More modern-ish band. Neat album cover. There's the back. A lot of big words and stuff in their song titles. But the lyrics, of course, are your average really stupid gore lyrics, but they're great. Right here it says support the Bad Taste campaign. Not sure what that means, but that's funny. This is a really short album too. I think it's around 20. It's over 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. But yeah, if you like blast beats, you'll like this. It's basically just Discord US on crack. But it's so fun to listen to. It's ridiculous. I could get why a lot of people don't like this band, because they use a lot of blast beats and other songs sound really the same. But it's technical though, for sure. These guys have talent, and the drumming on this album is just insane. It's not super fast to the point where it's unrelatable to listen to. It's not overwhelmingly fast, but it's really fucking fast though, for sure. Some of the fastest brutal death metal I own. The first song here, Cannibalistic Post-Climax Flesh Consumption. Will basically let you, if you listen to that song, you'll know what the rest of the album sounds like. But yeah, really intense, really fast, crazy stuff. So yeah, Putridity with Degenerating Anthropophagal Euphoria. Really hard to remember album title. But yeah, I recommend this if you like really fast stuff with a ton of blast beats. Alright, the last thing I got is probably, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite thing out of this whole stack, but it's probably the thing in this whole stack I've wanted for the longest. I've been wanting to have a copy of this album since my freshman year of high school, and this is the first brutal death metal album I ever listened to. This is the album I wouldn't say it's the album that got me into it, the genre as a whole. So it kind of gradually became my favorite over time. But this is the first brutal death metal album I ever heard and enjoyed. And it's in shit condition too. It said it was only in good condition on Discogs, but it was $20 or $30, so I couldn't pass it up because this album goes for ridiculous amounts. This is Skinless with Progression Towards Evil. I love this album. It's so catchy and so weird and so fun. And if you're new to brutal death metal, I think this is a great place to start, actually. But this came out in the late 90s. I don't even know if it says on here. But this is a pressing through United Guttural. I don't know if it's an OG press, but it's definitely an old pressing. But the case, I mean, just look at how dented it is. There's a crack there. I'm really not complaining that much though. I got this for a good deal. This shit goes for like $90 at cheapest. But there's some really fun songs on here. I mean, Tampon Lollipops. If you haven't heard this album, listen to that song and it'll basically let you know what the rest of the album is like. Contaminated Scum Cookie. It's a funny song title. Crispy Kids is probably my favorite on here. It's so fucking good. Here's the back, but late 90s New York brutal death metal. Of course, they became a little more, not commercial death metal, but over time they changed to sound more to sound like, their sound changed to something more akin to something like jungle rot or something over time. But this album is different though. This album is much more, not slammy, but close, really like just groovy. Not a lot of tremolo pick riffs, just really chuggy. Pictures of the band and thank yous and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's like a sample from a movie at the beginning of every song on here. They could get pretty weird, like the one to Tampon Lollipops. Really funny lyrics, obviously. The intro to song is it? I think it's Fetish. It's either Bobbing for Heads or Fetish Goulash. Is weird. The intro to Scum Cookie always makes me laugh. But yeah, there's weird, memorable, funny samples at the beginning of all these songs. But yeah, this album is like really important to me as far as like, because it's the first brutal death metal I ever got into. It. This brutal death metal is my favorite genre of metal, and yeah, this is a fantastic album. And oh yeah, I forgot to show how bad the condition the disc is in, but I'm surprised it plays perfectly fine. It doesn't scratch at all. Skip, not scratch. There's a lot of, I don't know if it's picking that up very well. There's a lot of scratches on this thing, but not complaining. It plays fine. I got it for a better price than it usually goes for anyways, even though it's in shitty condition. I'm super happy to own this. I love this album. There's another little funny like liner note down here below the track listing that says, unauthorized duplication of this release is not only permitted but encouraged. Make a tape of this shit and give it to a friend. This is the underground supported. If I were in it for the money, we would have quit long ago. You can help us and other underground bands drive the final nail into the coffin of humanity by buying merchandise. So join us in our conquest and buy a fucking shirt. Thanks. I just thought that was a funny little thing. But if you haven't heard this or you've thrown off Scandalous because you've heard their newer stuff, listen to this. It's so damn good. And it's so catchy and energetic and fun. But yeah, that's it for this collection update. This video is almost half an hour, so I'm going to cut it off now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.